Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Um, Talked to a lot of people the last 2 days and appreciate what all you guys are going through. It's very challenging, difficult, and frankly, it's almost overwhelming. But I'm so proud of how many of you guys are hanging in there and focusing on kids and getting things done. So I thought I'd throw a little change of pace because all we talk about is MOUs, attendance plans, budgets, COVID. And I thought I'd change it up a little bit for you and share my screen and give you something else to think about. Hope you can grab a glass of wine or a beer or something and enjoy some of the things I'm observing outside of the ugly world that you're working inside of. Had a great talk today with Katie, who's from the new superintendent down in Bishop, and I was really proud of her because she comes from the alt-ed worlds like I do, and really like the way she's focusing in on kids and families. That's how we roll in alt-ed, and I think for all of you that are sticking to the script, and the script is about students first, great job, because it's hard not to continue to think about the adults and what's going on at the bargaining table and all the things going on throughout the world in the adult world. So let me share my screen with you and walk you through about a 10 or 15-minute presentation. So I thought what I'd do today, let me get this up. There we go. Yeah, I thought what we do today is talk about some of the great things we're learning. Not only because of distance learning, but really because of the pandemic. And let me fix this, sorry about that. There we go. You're leading in this COVID era, and I thought there was like 10 things that jumped out at me that I think that we'll embrace later on, and then talk about some new things that we got to support you on. And really, it's kind of an exciting time. It's very stressful, but I think there's some great things that are coming out of this cloudy world, I guess you can say. So let's move forward. I just really like this quote about being optimistic, not being Pollyannish, or not being somebody who sees things kind of wrong. It's really someone who sees the opportunity in every difficulty, as Winston Churchill did. And remember what I told you. He was brutally honest when he took over, but he also constantly provided hope for people. So the first thing I thought about is you and your leadership, and that nothing in the future you won't fear as much, right? Once you've gone through a crisis, a pandemic, cancer, a death, you're stronger for it, and you have a different reflection. Obviously, in the midst of it, you're not, but I'm seeing some really bold leadership, and I'm super proud of all of you. And come on, if you're not making a few enemies, it's because you're not standing up for the kids. You're not standing up for what's right. Not everybody's going to love you, but you're standing up for something that's ultra critical, the line in the sand for you. I think this has been a dream of mine since I started teaching my first day. So when I taught, I was a alternative ed teacher, and you had to teach every subject. And I was trained by a person who said, Tim, the key to surviving when you have to teach alt-ed is to copyright, find the best teacher. So I said, give me the best social science teacher, give me the best science teacher. That's not an alley of mine. And I was able to go to these classes, steal lesson plans, steal their discipline policies, take everything I could and copy it right. I have seen so many exciting things, and I'll be sharing with those of you on Thursday, what I see teachers finally sharing globally. The classrooms opened up, lesson plans are opening up. We're utilizing YouTube and other things to share best practices. And why not? We are funded by the taxes to do this work. We should be sharing best practices. We shouldn't be writing 15,000 lesson plans in math grade 1, day 3. There should be some very easy things to pick off and grab and copy it right. To me, this is probably the most exciting thing, is that we're seeing some of the greatest teachers really rise above and really step their game up, right? It's like a LeBron James of the world are really stepping up and really helping each other out. But also, we're starting to see, especially for small school districts, where you can go, look, I got to teach AP calculus and I can't do calculus that well. I'm going to co-teach and get online and watch a great calculus teacher teach to my kids while I'm in the Zoom room with them and watch the best of the best. I don't know why we haven't done that more, except we have big egos. And I also think it's a two-way street where other districts have not allowed that. Well, now it's an open field, and we're really benefiting from that. I'm a huge tech person. I had a business degree and taught business in high school. And if you look from 1870, we had a one-room schoolhouse. The radio was introduced in the 20s. You had overhead projectors. TVs first appeared in the 30s. So the calculator jumped in about 67. We had the Mac was introduced by 84. Those iPads came in to the tune of 1.5 million of them all at once, about 2012. I'm sure in every single one of these eras, someone was saying, oh, you can't have radio in class. That's horrible. Kids are supposed to be learning through a book. Oh my God, you brought a whiteboard in. We love the chalkboards, right? So I think we're at this era where technology and the history of technology is taking a very, very quick jump. And really, I'm so excited because I'm a huge fan of ed technology and all the work being done there. And immediately we're seeing that we're rising to a level where we all dreamed of 30 or 40 years ago. It's skyrocketing. And these ed tech specialists that are working throughout the state, through our county offices and through CUE and through all these different organizations, is exploding. And I think it's going to really give that extra tool in the tool belt when we get back to normal. So this is a difficult one because I'm really excited to see this fall the visual and performing arts really step up. We know that in pandemics, we know that in fires, we know that in floods, we know that in Katrina, the most critical things kid needs to do is be able to express themselves. And I think we failed greatly in the spring, and I think it's really time for all of us to really focus and understand that visual and performing arts is so critical now that it's the greatest way to help get our kids back on their feet, get back to normalcy, express themselves during this era. We're going to see some incredible work. And we all have an obligation to do that. We're learning that without the visual performing arts, we're really stale. And I think a crisis helps us force to adapt to that, right? We know that arts are great. We know that we've made great progress, but right away we fell right back into what we're comfortable with, which we got to teach math, we got to teach English, we got to do those things, and we drop the arts. So now I think we take that and our adaptation becomes, let's begin to move the outdoor, move some of the classroom work to the outdoor ed, right? And infuse it in all disciplines, not just go outdoor to learn science or look at bugs and all that, but actually let kids read out there. Let them do their artwork out there. Let them sing out there. And infuse that outdoor edge. There's some great stuff I'm going to show you Thursday that's being done and being recommended. Or let's move those kids out of the classroom 5-6 hours a day and get them in the outdoor world around their campuses, around their community, where they can learn, I think, more holistically and better for all. We all have heard over the years these great schools with personalized student plans, IEPs for all, I guess you could say. And I think now that I'm seeing, and I'll show you some examples again on Thursday, where teachers are using the initial student plans and ongoing student plans, using trauma-informed practices and questions, so the kid can really communicate to the teacher well. And I think unfortunately, you have to learn that through crisis, that it's really becomes a higher level of need, but really exciting stuff that I think will stay within our system forever. You know, how many of us have thought about having flexible schedules, work at home, uh, maybe Fridays is all day PD days, 4-day work weeks, technology for everyone. I think we're really at this point because of this pandemic where we've tasted things and faculty and staff are becoming more accustomed of possibilities, of things that we can do really to have a better life and to provide more things for kids. Still, we know there's nothing more important than the teacher and student relation. That's the most important thing for trauma, for health, safety, reading, math, success. But the possibilities of not just having it so rigid in an 8 to 3 Monday through Friday schedule has really opened up for us. I think this one is going to really rear its head this year when we understand that extracurricular activities, the way we really engage kids through STEM competitions, through sports, through after-school activities, through clubs, through all the great things that we offer, are actually the core of great schools. The career tech ed. All those things are things that provide really core relationships between the student and the teacher, the student and the student. It's relevant, and then we flavor it with great rigor in the classroom. I think we've known this, we feel it, but once we've taken this away, once sports is removed from school, once after schools become something else, once our activities are depleted, we're really going to look for ways to bring those back in and really, really embrace these activities, especially as we head into a bad budget year coming up. We're flush with money right now. We just gave out $5 billion for schools. As we look into next year, are you going to hold on to the extracurricular activities, the VAPA, the distance learning possibilities? That'll be very interesting to see, and you'll need these to keep your kids engaged. I couldn't say it better. Eleanor Roosevelt. What we've learned in this pandemic is that education is frozen right now in some ways, and our liberty, our pursuit of happiness, our country is stalemated. And to me, this is really one of the most important things, is that we've learned through equity. We talk about equity all the time, and everybody has a million answers, but really this system of education is the most critical piece of function in our society. It's a very complicated puzzle. It's not like 12 pieces. It's got hundreds of pieces. And education is that one critical piece where the puzzle is much needed without this piece. And when we talk about equity, I think the lack of the digital divide has clearly given a voice to our rural and small school districts. As equity is really, I thought, has fallen back into a poverty issue, a large urban issue, and this really has given us the opportunity to fight and say, look, our kids don't even have connectivity, and you're asking us to do distance learning. They don't even have a device that works. How is that equitable? The disappointing thing is when we just handed out $5 billion, we continued to flood the urbans with billions of dollars. On top of the billions they already received for some of their equity data. I was very disappointed we didn't look at a different lens for that, especially in the distance learning era. So that's kind of the 10 things that I thought of. I'm sure there's a lot more. I find it to be a little bit exciting, something refreshing. I mean, you're dealing with so much crap out there, I feel for you. And this Thursday, we're going to be announcing, on the 13th, we're going to be announcing for you some new things to help support you. A Sunday social, celebrate getting through the end of the week and getting ready for the following week. A new series that we're going to offer on a webinar basis to help you with budgeting for next year, and a couple other things. I think we're going to throw in a podcast, and anything we could do to support you, let us know. I thought I'd do a few outtakes of what we've also learned, so it's not just so Pollyannish, because we've learned so much together, but we also have had some interesting, funny times here. So, basically we've realized that you guys can go on 3 hours sleep. Even people that don't swear are dropping F-bombs left and right. and other bad words too, right? Um, I find educators are extremely funny on Zoom to watch, to look at, and what they say. Pivot has basically changed the word, has replaced the word change. Pivot, 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 pivot. It's become a real millennial term, but it's also moved its way up through all of us. Instead of saying change, I guess it makes us feel better. Uh, I've realized you can actually not even have to shower for days if you're working at home via Zoom. You just keep putting on outfits and no one even knows how bad you smell. um, I always am a little like when you're on a Zoom call, and I've done it myself, but what's really going on when that camera's off? Are you sleeping? You're running around the house? Are you really paying attention? People that click off their camera, I think, gosh, I'm glad we don't know what's going on. And sometimes just hitting that mute button is the greatest gift given to us of all time. It gets us quickly through Zoom meetings, and appreciate that we get to have that. So on that note, you guys, thanks so much. I really impressed what everybody's doing out there. We're heading into a really difficult time next couple of weeks. I think some of you have already got a taste of school starting. Parents are ramping up, and I wish you the best. And please call me if you need anything. And on that note, have a good one. Look forward to talking to you again on